People who have strong morals and standards didn't grow up sleeping in a bed of roses. Their morals and standards are created by bad past experiences, and they are put in place to assure they never have to experience that feeling ever again. An argumentative parent causes you to look for a partner who listens and tries to find a solution, rather than overanalyzing the problem and constantly bringing it up. A close friend dying from cancer results in you to look for a partner that takes care of their health, or for you to make smarter choices with your health. Being bullied might cause you to be sympathetic of others and treat them better. Your parent being an alcoholic might cause you to never drink. Ultimately, you need to experience in order to know what you do and don't need in your life. That is how you create morals and standards. For those of you who follow my TikTok, I made a video saying that exact thing. And that idea it's meant for my Let Me Chat episode, but I thought it was, powerful enough and important enough for me to post about it a couple of times. And that's why I'm talking about it now. And I thought it was valuable enough for me to make a whole video, an episode on it. That's why we're talking about developing morals. I personally am very morally driven. I live by my morals, and after having to take a while through my childhood and teenage years in school and everything, it took me a while to develop them and really put them into place, but I now choose to live by them. And I think even if you ask my mates, they could definitely agree with that. They would definitely say that I'm pretty by the book of what I personally believe in and what I think. But yeah, I made a video saying this quote, and I'll continue to mention it for the next episode because it'll be in my Let Me Chat episode, and I'll talk about it again because it relates to me a lot, where I share my thoughts and what I've been thinking. I'm very, very, very adamant and strong with my morals. So, for an example, some of my morals that I could just list off the top of my head when I was creating this script. I'll never get with a girl or date a girl that's gotten with one of my mates before. I'll never date someone that I've been or I will be in a consistent environment with, say, work, for example. I hate lying. I'll always try to be honest with other people. I'll never change myself for another person's appeal or pleasure. I'll never let myself fall under peer pressure, and I let my actions speak louder than my words. Those are just some of my morals and my standards that I've set for myself and I have in place for myself throughout my day-to-day life. And the quote I mentioned at the start of the episode, those are based off past experiences. Except for the alcoholic parents one. That's just an example. But I lost a close friend to cancer. It's not the main reason why I take so much care of my health. The main reason was because I was a chubby kid back in the day, and I never want to have to experience that feeling of looking at myself in the mirror and being, fuck, you look disgusting. But I guess losing my mate to cancer, one of my old friends from my old school, that really just like pulled me on the back foot. I was a little bit like, fuck, who am I to take my health for granted and try and cut my life short, where my good mate lost his life to cancer he was a great person, and it just kind of puts things into perspective. Like, you really just can't take those little things for granted that you don't really think about. And it happens. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of people lose their friends or lose close people to them through diseases and cancer and stuff like that. And it's why I take a lot of care in my health. I'll never smoke, and I don't think I'll ever plan on doing it even when I'm old, because I don't see a benefit from it. And I don't want to put myself into that risk category of people who do smoke and potentially get cancer. And I'm that kind of person where if I have one bad experience with something, I'll usually never ever do it again. Like with smoking, when I was 14 years old, like most people in an Aussie high school, Aussie public high school around that age, you start experimenting with shit. Drinking, smoking, friend groups, people you hang out with, and all that stuff. I tried vaping one time with my best mate's brother, and it was with one of those, back in the day, it was those really long cylinder vapes that only had like a couple, like 100 or 200 hits in it. And I had it one night with my mate's brother, sorry, and I was puffing away, having a good old time. And then the next day we have a basketball game, and I do one sprint up to half court, and I immediately just have the biggest coughing fit I've ever had in my life. Like, I've never felt I felt less out of breath when I was a fatty back in primary school. And I never want to feel that unfit or that disgusting and disgusted with myself ever again. And that's why I don't smoke. With morals, whenever you end up in a conversation asking about their standards, or it can be as little as like, what do you expect from a partner, or them just saying why they never do something, say smoking for example, and they give their reasoning, you can assess if their morals are selfish or selfless. If they're for their own benefit or they're for the benefit of others. Personally, I have a mix of both. Most of my morals are probably selfish for my own protection, but I'll never try to lie, and I'll always try and be honest. That's one, purely because I fucking suck at lying. I'm the worst liar on planet Earth. I can't keep lying to people because I feel so much guilt from it. But I also don't get a benefit from it. And sooner or later, they'll find out that I was lying. This doesn't count with, like, on a night out, you tell someone your fake name and what you do for a fucking living. That's a piss take. That's funny. But lying to someone about something that you've done or something to protect your image, that's not right to me. And I don't like that stuff. Because if someone's lying to me and I find out, I'm immediately ditching them straight away. Like, I'm cutting them off. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're lying to me, who knows what you're going to lie about in the future? So why would I even keep you around if you're going to do that stuff to me? Let alone what you do to other people to protect yourself. But people can only have these ideas to protect themselves or others around them, purely based on their own experience. You can't say that, oh, I hate lying, or I don't like lying to people, if you do lie and if you constantly lie to people. I have a couple bad experiences where people lie to me and all this stuff and talk behind my back, and then I find out later. And I think, fuck, if I did that to someone, I don't want them to feel how I felt when I had to experience that. That felt like shit. Like, why would I want to let someone feel that feeling? Because I know how gut-wrenching and how, I guess, demoralizing in a way, because it shows that people don't respect or care about you when they lie to you. And I think nowadays, especially with like kids below me or younger people, I think that they're definitely less morally driven and have lower standards. And that can do with so many different factors that I wouldn't be able to name every single one of them, but a couple would be social media. That's probably the biggest one by far. Nowadays, everyone shares every single little thing about their entire life. I even saw this one post the other day about this wife and husband the wife found the husband's Tinder profile and trying to set up a date. And she was the person that he was trying to set up a date with, but she was under a different name. And they were having this big argument, and it was all recorded and posted on TikTok. And I looked through the comments, and everyone's like, "Oh, what a boss bitch. That's so good of her," and all this stuff. But in my head, I'm thinking, why would you post that? Why are you letting so many random people that you don't know into such a private situation in your life? Yes, I don't know what they're going through. I don't know any specifics about them, and I can't just assume, but I can have my own opinion, and I personally think that's very overly inviting to the public. And I'm personally that kind of person, but I think that's a bit odd. And I would rather that be a personal thing. And everything is shared on social media, which is why I think that morals and standards such as that, like, I don't want to, like, on my social media, I don't want to advertise my family and put them all over about personal stuff. Unless, of course, my family want me to do that. I would never willingly do that. And I think kids' standards for those kind of things are constantly changing. Another example, I guess, would be parenting styles. My parents, the amount of conversations we've had about how easy I have it and whatnot with my parents, but when they grew up, their parents were hard on them. Like, my grandparents were strict by the line people. And nowadays, a lot of parents, they have to adjust, obviously, because it's a different time, but they're definitely a lot looser with their kids. Kids nowadays have no respect. And if you want to learn that, go into retail. Because whenever I work in Rebel, I work upstairs where the basketball cage is, and you get so many impatient and stuck up kids just saying, "Oh, let me in, let me in, let me in." Even though the fucking basketball ring isn't even on it because it's broken. But they're they think they're entitled to everything. And that's just an example of standards lowering. What the fuck? But I never actually planned for this episode to be super long, because I think the point and the aim of it is pretty obvious. You have to experience to be able to know what you do and don't want in your life. Those examples that I mentioned at the start of the episode, I have experienced all of them, not in the same specifics as how I described them, having an alcoholic parent or an argumentative parent. Because I'm very lucky for my parents. My parents are fucking unbelievable, and I, like many other people, will say that I have the best parents that I could ever ask for. And I'm extremely, extremely lucky to have them. But I've experienced argumentative people and people that overanalyze problems and drain you of energy. And I've experienced people close to me who don't admit it, but they become very obsessed with, alcohol and drugs and constantly doing that stuff. And for me, that's not my type of thing. And I kind of push those people away from me as much as I can. That's why with the people that I hang out with, when I'm with them because I enjoy them as a person. And I love everything about them. I don't go and hang out with people for status or just for hanging out with them, or I do it because I enjoy their presence and I love them as people. That's why I hang out with them. That's why they're my mates. I'm very protective of myself, and I want to get the best out of life, as I think most people say that they want to. And I think the people around you it's a reflection of what you want to do with yourself and what you want to get out of yourself. And that's why, obviously, the people around me don't know it enough, but I'm around them because they bring out a part of me that I love, and they improve, I guess, me and something about me so much more when I'm with them. And your morals and standards, like your standards can change. Maybe, hypothetically, maybe I do want to start smoking for the social aspect of it. Maybe I'll change how I am for a dream girl. I doubt it's going to happen, but it does sometimes. Your standards and morals can change. But these ones that I listed off, these are just at the top of my head that I wrote down, but they're things that I put in place that I think I will stick to for the rest of my life. I guess maybe one day, on a special occasion, I'll smoke a fucking cigar with one of my mates as a celebratory thing. But I'm never going to be a recreational smoker. But I know I'll always let my actions speak louder than my words. If I enjoy your presence, I don't have to say, oh, I love hanging out with you. You're going to know because I'm going to be hanging out with you all the time. Or I'm going to be seeing you as much as I can. Or I'm going to try and make plans with you. I'll make sure that I never get with a girl that's gotten with one of my mates. And that's because it doesn't seem special. If I start dating a girl that's gone with one of my mates, it's just always in the back of my mind like, oh, she's gotten with him. And it doesn't feel as special. Like she's not my person. And I don't think that I'll ever not be honest with people. I'm not super blunt, but I'm pretty honest. And I guess an example is like at coaching, or even at footy, if I think a drill isn't working or it doesn't, I guess, mimic what we do in a game or what kind of game we want to play, I immediately think and say to the other coaches or to my coach, I think we can find something better than this. And I hate lying because I always feel guilty for it. And I'm pretty confident that I'll never let myself fall under peer pressure because the times that I did, entertaining and a great example of this one is I was 15, I think. 15 or 16, I can't remember, but one of my good mates from my old school, Mark, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine with me saying this because there's nothing bad happening to them, but I was 16. I just moved to my new school and I was hanging with all my mates from my older school, and my mate Mark had a 16th at his place, and it was meant to be 20 or 30 people, and I can't remember if he sent out a story or he texted all of us saying that he's having something at his place, but we're all invited. And then I think one person told another person, and then that person put on their public story and then started telling everyone about it, telling everyone to rock up. Ended up being, I think, this is a ballpark, but around 500 people were waiting at the front trying to get in. And my best mate Luke and my other good mate Megan, we had prayers at my house and then we went over to Mark's. And we're just walking over to the house and we just see like car lights and just people flocking all throughout the street, just walking up and down, pacing, trying to get in, waiting to get in. We eventually get in because Mark's sister's ex-boyfriend now, but boyfriend at the time, let us in. And we walk in there and we're like, holy shit. Eventually everyone starts, slowly drifting away, going to the local park. But that night, don't know what got into me, but I just got ridiculously drunk. And this is not like, I drink all the beer in the world, but I had like 15 Somersbys, and my mate Paris brought out a Jack Daniels bottle. I had half of that. I ended up vomiting for half an hour in the toilet, and just like, this is so graphic and so disgusting, but just like every hole of my body, there was some sort of liquid coming out. It was disgusting. And I had to get carried out. My mum had to get called on my phone by my best mate Luke. Thank God Luke was there for that. And mum got cold. I had no idea. I was just on the toilet, just fucking projectile vomiting everything out of me. My brother went along for the ride and started laughing at me the entire time, filming me. And I had to get carried by 4 people out of Mark's house and get taken home. And it was the day before Easter because we had an Easter lunch straight after, and it was an all you can eat. And I just remember waking up and just feeling like absolute death. I wanted to just die. I was like, oh my God, I've never felt this before. Because like previously, I feel like everyone has a point where they just don't feel hungover. And that was my first ever hungover experience, and it was the worst. I've never felt that worse in my entire life. And that was because I felt under peer pressure. Everyone was like, yeah, take another shot, have another shot, have another shot. And I was like, oh, fine if I have to. Kept drinking and ended up fucking passing out and projectile vomiting and whatnot. And it obviously, like, everyone has that experience with drinking, but after that, I was like, fuck that shit. Like, that was horrible. And so, like, that's my story why I never fall under peer pressure. Like, all of my morals and standards that I have for myself are always put in place because of a bad experience or something that I've observed that I think, fuck that. I don't want to end up like that or like them. So I'm going to make sure that I don't do that to myself. And so that goes back to the main message of this episode. You have to experience in order to know what you do and don't want in your life. That to me is a fact, and that's what I believe most people put their morals and standards in place. It's the same thing as relationships. There are reasons why people have standards to the partner they want. Not talking about physical, I'm talking about what they expect from their partner. And that's likely because they've seen their mate be in a shit relationship and think, fuck that, my boyfriend's not going to be like that. Sorry, my girlfriend's not going to be like that. Or they've actually experienced it. Their boyfriend was a liar. I don't know why I keep going to, because girls always have more standards. That's why. I'm not going to get a girlfriend because I'm not going to have a girlfriend that lies because my past girlfriend was a liar. I'm not going to have a girlfriend that gaslights me. I'm going to look for a girlfriend that supports me in everything I do and is always there through thick and thin. Stuff like that. You've either experienced it or you've observed it from one of your mates or from someone or from some example, and you think, that looks like shit, that sucks. That's not going to happen to me. I'm going to make sure of it. You have to experience in order to know what you do and don't want in your life. That brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know why, I just thought I was going to lean back into the topic again, but that's the end of this episode. Again, let me know what you guys want me to talk about, or if you guys are or aren't enjoying these kind of episodes. This is all for my entertainment and my, I guess, progression in life, and also for yours. So I do appreciate if you guys let me know what you do and what don't want me to talk about. Any suggestions? Like, nothing can go, like, I'm open to anything, honestly. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.